Okay. Good afternoon. I think most of you are familiar with Dr. Lewis, but she has so many things she has done, and she's a great speaker. I'll read a few things here. Dr. Lewis leads and has alliances with worldwide organizations specializing in leadership development and organizational communication, with clients ranging from Fortune 500 companies through nonprofit agencies to educational institutions. Dr. Lewis's proven specialty is leadership, professional excellence, cultural inclusion, entrepreneurship, executive coaching, strategic development, and executive public speaking coaching, et cetera, et cetera. She can describe more that she does, but yeah, we're excited to have this session with Dr. Lewis.
Thank you so much. I am really looking forward to working with all of you. Yes, there is a plethora of things that I've done and my professional background. What's important for today is to know that I work on entrepreneurship as well as how do you build yourself? How do you get from where you are now to where you want to be? And what I know is that we can't get there by ourselves, that we need to have a group of people that really do care about us and where we're going. And maybe they have foresight that they can see further than we can. And that's why the topic of today is really about your success sidekick. And that's what we're going to be looking at. We are going to have a couple of breakout sessions so that you can do the work together. There was a handout that was sent to you, but I also will be talking about some of those questions as we go along, just so that you know what to discuss in your breakout sessions. So let's go ahead and begin. I want you in the chat to go ahead and text the answer to this or to finish this next sentence. If for some reason you're not able to do that, you can also unmute yourself and say it that way. So finish this sentence. It's not about what you know. What is it? It's who you know. It's about who you know. It's who you know or how you use it. Not about what you know. It's you know how to find the information. It's who you know. Yes, all of those are correct, but guess what? I'm going to take it a little bit further than that. It's who knows you, right? Because I know Oprah, but she don't know me. So how do you get people to know who you are? It's really important that you know that and know how to make that happen. So if people don't know who you are, then they can't trust you, especially in Colorado Springs. People are going to gather around you when they know who you are. And if they don't know you personally, they're going to ask someone else. So for instance, I can be somewhere and someone will come up to me and they'll say, hey, listen, do you know Asia? I mean, do you know anything about Asia? And I'm like, oh yeah, she's getting ready to be a PhD. I mean, let me tell you something about her. And then it's like, okay, I just got that check mark over who this person actually is, because that person talking to me knows me and knows the quality of my word. So it's about who knows you that really does make a difference. And by the way, Asia, I do talk about you because I got some ideas. So anyway, so keep that in mind. So how can you get people to know who you are? Sit on boards, show up, volunteer, go to functions, go to events so that you can connect. And when you go, don't just go, connect, have the conversations with other people. Let them know, what are you doing? And share with them and get to know what they're doing as well. So that's what really makes a difference. So that's a really important piece. So I talked about this sidekick, and I just was really playing off of Batman and Robin, right? And so really talking about, what is a sidekick? What does it really mean? Like, who in the world was Robin to Batman? Did Batman really need Robin? What does that even look like? Like, what is the importance of a sidekick? Well, I have a couple of things to go over and tell you what a sidekick is. One, it's a person closely associated with you. So that sidekick is someone who respects you, someone who knows you, and if they don't know you, they really are interested in and is invested in getting to know you. So it has to be close. It can't be just, hey, I like you. I want to get, hang out with you. There's got to be reason behind that. The other is you want them to be a partner. So a partner is mutual respect. There's things that you give and things that they give, and you partner together, and they know this. They are a supporter of you. They're going to support you in many different ways. And so that's what you're looking for, is someone who is going to support you. And support sometimes is financially, sometimes it is physically, sometimes it is verbally. There's different ways that people can support you. They can provide relief, because sometimes it gets rough in this world. And when there is somebody who can sit and talk with you or can shed light to give some relief, that's really important. So in 2020, when we had COVID, when COVID first started and the pandemic came, there were a lot of people that were very fearful. And I became a person that provided some relief. I talked about reaching back to a time where you went through something that really made you nervous or scared or however you're feeling, and start thinking about what did you do to get through that is how you're going to get through this situation. So I took them back to when I was in Desert Storm. See, Desert Storm was a chemical war, so I couldn't taste it, smell it, feel it, see it. So it was almost like COVID. And I talked about how I handled it mentally and emotionally, and it helped. So providing relief is really important as a person who is a sidekick. They provide information. You're trying to figure out, where do I get scholarships, or how can I get a job, or how can I start my own business? And if they know this information, they share it with you, or they find someone that has that information and they're sharing it with you. Maybe not with everyone, but they're definitely sharing it with you. So they share. They not only share information, but sometimes they share things that they have. I have someone who I'm mentoring, and they needed a printer. And I just so happened to have an extra one. So I shared it with them. And so there's things that they will share with you. And everything that I'm saying here, that is a sidekick for you. But if you decide to be a sidekick for somebody else, these are things that should be expected. And I think the most important one is trust. You have to have trust with each other. And so even if you are telling little tiny stories, little lies, that is not good, because this person is trusting in you with what they say and what you say to them. So it should be confidential. It should be something that's just discussed there, because they might do something for you that they don't do with someone else. And so you want to be able to be trusted, and you want to be able to trust them, because you're going to share with them fears that you have, concerns that you have, and you want to know that it's not going to be repeated by someone else. So this is really important. So in just a few minutes, I'm going to have you go into a breakout room. And in this breakout room, you're going to have a discussion about how to build a successful team of sidekicks. There's a list of questions. So if you got the handout, if you pull it up, there's a handout and it has the questions on there. So it's a little bit more extensive than what's here. And if you don't have that, then you can either take your phone and take a picture of these, or you can copy and paste it, or type it out. But you want to ask yourself, what am I looking for in a sidekick? Like, think about, what are you trying to achieve in your life right now? And what types of people could really help you with that? And then where do I find sidekicks? How many do you actually need? And how much is a sidekick? How much would it cost to have a sidekick? So those are just some foods for thought. We're going to put you in a breakout room for about 6 minutes or so, and just to have these discussions. I'm going to go over every single one to provide you with more information, but this is just to get it started. So if you don't mind, Jessica, to open up rooms, that would be
Yep,
great.
I'm gonna pause the recording. Okay.
So while you were in the breakout room, I had asked you, really what it is about building a success team of sidekicks. And so there were several questions that I had asked you to answer. And so I want to ask, and you can put this in the text or you can raise your hand or what have you. But the first is, what are you looking for in a sidekick? Like, what is it that you say, this is why I would choose this person? So exchange sidekick with mentor or something like that, if that helps you. But what are you looking for in a person when you say, this is my sidekick right here? So could anybody answer that? Others can put it in the chat, but I'd love to see if there's anybody who raises their hand or unmutes themselves. I see that Jennifer says trust, that you're looking for somebody who you can trust. And Kathleen says the same thing, trustworthy and reliable, loyal person. Those are deeply important parts, yeah, and they are. I mean, like, you got to know that this person is going to be there for you. Like, they're really there for you, not judgy. Man, I think that one right there is so important to me. Like, please don't judge me. I'm not going to get it right. And that's one of the reasons why I got you here. So don't judge me and meet me where I am. Ken says that's gone ahead of where I am. Yes. So don't talk from behind me like you haven't even got there. So what are you talking about? Or even somebody who's with me, go further than that. So I have 2 cousins and they're always trying to give me relationship advice. And they are close to my age, but neither one of them have ever dated a man before. They've never dated anybody. So I'm like, what are you talking about? You can't give me advice. Let's see. Can tell you no when you want to hear yes. Oh my goodness, the voice of reason. So one of my sidekicks, I remember I was working on my PhD and I was packed to go on vacation. I had everything in the car and she said, oh, you can't go. You got to stay and work on your dissertation. And I said, I'm going on vacation. She says, no, you can't. I said, all my stuff is packed. I can't even get to it. It's like deep in there. She said, you won't need it anyway. I was so upset, but she was exactly right. And I ended up staying, and thank goodness I did. Erica said, holds me accountable, tells me the truth in love, even when it hurts. Oh, be ready, because see, that is very true. I have people all the time that says, oh, Dr. Lewis, I want you to be my mentor. And I'm thinking, no, you don't, because I'm going to tell you the truth. And I don't want to hurt your feelings, but sometimes it's going to feel that way because I am going to be truthful and honest with you. I'm going to hold you accountable. My sidekick will come for coffee and help fold laundry while we chat. Yes, indeed. Listen, come to my house, and if it's a mess, you can help me. Hopefully I have it clean, but there we go. Wisdom and humility. Humor is a bonus. Absolutely. I agree with that. I do want you to be my mentor. I got you. Hey, listen, if you're ready for it, let's talk. So these are things that you are looking for in a sidekick. And so the next one is, what type of person has the quality you're looking for? So when you think about that, what types, like where can you find that? Because you first want to think about what types of qualities are you looking for in a sidekick. So in other words, right now, I am trying to open up my school, my Regina Speaking Academy. And I've ran into some snags in terms of the equipment and the soundproofing and the building. And so right now, the kind of sidekicks that I need are people who know something about that, about sound, video, all of that, and people who have connections about building. So right now, that's the type of sidekick I'm looking for. So just know that when you start getting sidekicks, they don't have to be there forever. And sometimes you have different sidekicks for different reasons that come and go. So you really want to delve into that. Who knows, or where can you find these types of people? So where would you find sidekicks? Anybody have some suggestions? Put that in the chat. Do you have any suggestions on, like where can I find a sidekick? Instagram. Oh, wow. I guess I don't know enough about Instagram to know if I could find somebody there that I could trust and have all those other things I'm looking for, but it could be. Family, church, business. Yes. Parents challenge, friends, community. Yes. Just in niches. Yes. Digital mentors. Yes, Ken, I get what you're saying. Yes. So you can find them anywhere. That's the point of it all. So whenever I get ready to go somewhere, I always have in the back of my mind, if I could find a sidekick today, what would I be looking for? So whenever I go to a function, I'm looking for that as oh, hey, how are you doing? Oh my gosh, I haven't seen you in a long time. So what have you been up to? Because I'm trying to get out of them, are you the person that could be my sidekick for now? So you always want to have your eyes and ears open. How many people do you need right now? So that question is like, how many of these sidekicks do you need? As many as you need for that moment. Don't just go overboard and just get everybody, because you need meaning to it. You need it to be meaningful. But you might need like 3 different people right now. And then another time you might just need 1. And other times it might be 5. So like with my business, I know that was probably when I had the most sidekicks, because I needed somebody who knew something about financials. I needed somebody for bookkeeping. I needed somebody who knew about starting a business. I needed somebody who knew something about public speaking and programming and, so I had several. So you want to think about that. So here is the infamous question. How much is a sidekick? So if you had to pay a sidekick, how much would it cost? So let's say that you had them once a week for an hour. In a month's time, how much would that cost to have that sidekick? Take your best guess and put it in the text. I don't see anybody guessing. Come on, y'all. Okay, there we go. $200 to $1,000. Jennifer says time. Exchanging time equally. Same. Can't put an amount to it. A living wage. Anybody else? I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 out of 14 of us here. And Brittany said, I don't know. It depends on what you hope to get out of it. Priceless. Time, how much you're willing to invest depending on what you need, emotional vulnerability. Okay, love it, love it, love it, love it. I'm going to put a number on it. Cost of coffee, cost of you being a friend, $5. All right, all right. I mean, hey, you threw it out there. So let me just put it like this. I have mentored several people that consider me their sidekick. And I spend the time, and it's way more than an hour. And when I say, okay, so this is what the plan is, and then the next time I see them, they haven't done the plan. Well, you've just wasted my time. And time is money. So I started to share with them what it would cost if they were paying for it, because I do this as a business as well. So I just took the average price of a life coach. How much does a life coach cost? $350 an hour times 4 hours is $1,400 a month. That's only for 4 hours. So the reason why I put a number on there is so that you really understand the value of a person's time and don't waste their time. Because it is time that they could have spent doing something else. And that's on the low end. 350. I mean, you know, I would say that's average because like Ken had said, he said between 200 to 1,000 is usually the price of a coach for 1 hour. 1 hour. So when you say, oh, you know, it's the cost of friendship, or, you know, you do nice for them, they do nice for you, that's great, but you really should put some numbers on there so that you really understand the value so that you don't waste someone's time. Yes, get them a cup of coffee. That's great. But that doesn't account for the amount of time that they're actually spending when it comes down to reciprocating. So then here it is. If their time is $350 an hour, right? $1,400 a month, then how will you repay them for your time, their talent, and their treasures? How would you repay them? That's what I want to know. I want to know how will you do that? So we're going to go into another breakout room and have that discussion. Like, what is it that you can do to repay a person if you don't have $1,400 to give to them? So if we can go into a breakout room,
Perfect. We'll do 6 minutes again.
I'll say 5 minutes. 5
Okay.
minutes.
Perfect. Yeah.
I can't wait to hear how are you going to repay. So what were the suggestions that you had? So this time what I'm going to do is I want to hear some voices. And so let me see what I can come up with here. Let's go down the line. Let's see, what is this? Rania?
Yep, Rania.
Rania? Yeah, so what do you think? What would you do?
In our breakout, we just talked about like, yeah, if it's like a life coach or something, like you pay them. But if it's like a friend, you get them what they need, ask them what they need help with or whatever they need. And then also like listening. So listening to each other, sometimes just like, they say something and you say something, and that's just kind of what a friend's for.
Absolutely, absolutely. Anybody else want to add to that? Did you say something in addition to that or different in your breakout room? So I was a teacher, so I can call on people. I look at Ken laughing like,
I'll say something.
yeah,
Because I had Ken in my group and Erica, and they were inspirational to me because they had a lot to say, and I was just trying to figure out who my sidekick was. And in this session, I realized who it was. All this time, I thought she was just working with me, and we worked together. But the respect that I have for her, I never thought of her as a sidekick because she's just always with me. I'm like, we're always together. We do this together. And she literally texted me the Batman and Robin um, meme when I texted her and said, I realized you're my sidekick. And she texted me the Batman and Robin meme, kind of like what you just did on the slideshow. So what I'm trying to say is basically just respecting each other. Because I respect her enough to not even think that she was a sidekick. I'm like, she doing this with me. We doing this together, you know? And literally that's what she is. I just learned.
Mhm. Absolutely. You know, I'm going to add to that because sometimes a sidekick is with you all the time, and sometimes a sidekick is very rarely with you. But Jennifer, I'm going to give you an example of another sidekick. You and I are each other's sidekick. And I will tell you how that works because there's times that you'll say, hey, I've got this thing going on. Could you do X, Y, Z? And I say, sure, right? So I'm in support of you. And then other times that we're somewhere and you speak of me, oh, you need to get Dr. Lewis or whatever. So then you are putting my name out there. So then that is an exchange that also happens that way. And so these things are important. I say that fair exchange is no crime. And so then you have to stop and think that you have to be of some value to your sidekick. Because if you're not adding to them, you're taking away. And if you're not of value, then you are a liability. Keep that in mind. So what value do you bring to the table? You know, if I know, you know, again, going back to you, Jennifer, you're really well connected in the community. And so the value you bring to me is that you can speak of me in spaces and places where I'm not. And that only gives me more opportunity. So then you bring value to me. So it is this back and forth thing that you can always do. But the minute that people stop, so I used to have somebody that I was their sidekick, and I would really help them get into a lot of doors. In exchange, they had a lot of time. So they would, when I couldn't get to my mother, they would get to her and they would take her to bingo sometimes. They would go and sit and talk with her at other times. And that was worth its weight in gold. But when they told me that they just didn't feel like doing that anymore, there was no exchange. There wasn't any value. So your value doesn't always have to be money. Sometimes it is just, it's so reciprocal that you don't even notice that they are your sidekick, but they do things for you because you are also doing things for them. So if you're not doing anything, you need to start because that becomes overwhelming, you know, like it starts to weigh on you like, really? How many times do I have to keep doing this? What are you going to do in exchange? Sometimes it's like my mentor, she's got everything. There's nothing that I can seem to get her that she doesn't already have. But the one thing that she does not like is to drive. And she loves this certain carrot cake. So whenever I'm on that end of town, I go get it and I take it up the hill to her house. And that is amazing for her. So it's things like that. So always think about ways that you can do exchange, but make sure it's something that they are interested in, something that they want, not just what you think they should have. So these pieces are extremely important. So we want to talk a little bit about the do's and don'ts. So when you get ready to meet up with your mentor or your sidekick and you invite them somewhere, first of all, you want to invite them to a place that you can afford. And the place that you invite them is almost like saying, hey, do you want to meet up at Starbucks and have a cup of coffee? if you can afford a cup of coffee, because you should be buying it for them. If you can't do that, invite them to go sit in a park and just have a conversation. Invite them to your space. That space could be your office or what have you, and have a bottle of water there for them. Anything, but you want to do that. The next thing is, wherever it is that you're going to meet up with them, make sure it is a clean place. I have been places where I was like, I can't sit down with these white pants on this seat. But I don't say that to them. I'm trying to adjust and sit on the edge or what have you. But you want to make sure that the space and the place is neat and clean as much as possible. And then always take notes. So let me tell you something. Your mentor or your sidekick is going to share really good information, those gold nuggets with you. And you're going to be sitting there listening in awe, and then you're going to forget most of it. So it's best to write it down. And it's better if you're not sitting there trying to use your phone to take the notes. This just makes it look like you're really prepared. Now, I have a mentor who she tells me so many amazing things. And sometimes I'm in the car when she's telling me. And when she starts talking, the first time I can pull over to the side and park. And that's when I use my phone, because I have to put all that information in. Now, some people might say, well, I'll just record. If you decide to record, please ask for permission first, because your mentor might say some stuff that they don't want it to ever be heard again. So you want to make sure that you let them know first. And then lastly, the best thank you that you can give, and the best way to really repay, is number one, keep your word. If you say you're going to do it, do it. Say what you mean and mean what you say. The next is to follow up. You don't wait to hear from them. Don't say, well, I didn't want to disturb you. If you have to just send a text, I took care of this, I made that happen, I checked into this. Follow up. Be on time. I have someone who I was supposed to meet with them the other day, and they said, well, I will come over around 5. So I made sure everything was ready. When they got there, it was 8 o'clock. And I'm looking at them like, what? I'm ready to get in my pajamas. And I said, well, what happened? And they said, well, there were some things that happened at work, and I could accept that, but you could have texted me. You could have let me know. And then they said, and then I had to go to the gym. So I wanted to work out first. You must not realize how much I cost. It's those things. So be on time. Be honest. See, what happens is that your sidekick is going to let you in spaces and places that they don't allow other people. And if you're not honest, even if it's not really a big deal, they will never know if they can trust you with any and everything. You got to be honest. Always represent them well. I have had some people who say, oh, Dr. Lewis, that's my auntie. Or Dr. Lewis, that's my mentor, and they're doing everything wrong. You're representing me. I don't want anybody to believe that I produce that. So you have to realize, even when I'm not around, if people know that your sidekick is there for you and you are not doing what you are supposed to be doing, it makes them look bad too. And then lastly, maintain confidentiality, because everything shared should not be shared. That means don't go and tell everybody all of it. That's not for other people. Their business is not for you to tell. So make sure that you keep that within yourself. As much as you would love to tell and as juicy as it sounds, you don't do that. So I know that I've given you a lot of information. I'm like just throwing it at you, but I think it will be a place to start. And what I'd like to do is open it up just for a few minutes for any questions before we have our drawing or any information to close out today's session. So does anybody have any questions or comments that they would like to make? If so, please unmute yourself. All right, Jessica, I think it's on you.
Well, Dr. Lewis, I was just wanting to throw out there. I just wonder if anyone is, I think Jennifer mentioned she's in a relationship like this. I was wondering if anyone else is kind of realizing they are or hope to be, or if there are any examples that people are living of this that they can do better now.
Quiet group today.
It's the snow and the time change and elections and all the things. Well, I'll just throw it out there then that I think it's really difficult to connect deeply in this way in kind of the culture that we're in right now. I feel like, especially after COVID, I feel like it's just really hard to kind of get our footing again, to know how to initiate relationships like this that are more intentional and richer. So I'd say, I don't know if you have any suggestions for how to, I guess, kind of enter into that without being too awkward with people these days.
I think so I call it inspirational networking as opposed to just networking. When you meet people, it really is about maybe what do I have to offer and what do you have to offer and how can we complement one another? And so it might even be that you start out by offering something to someone else. You know, I heard that you are writing your book. One thing I'm really good at is proofreading. If you ever need a proofreader, let me know. Or it might be something as simple as, hey, could we go and have a cup of tea? I'd love to talk, just spend some time to get to know you a little bit better. And you can do that as well. Rachel, I think you said, let's see. I legit talk to anyone I meet. Usually if we hit it off, we hit it off and go from there. Yeah. Yeah. And there's some people, and that's fantastic, Rachel. I think that that's the way, I mean, if we can go that way, it's great. Some people are more introverted. They may not speak up, but they might be able to just continue the conversation that's there. Hey, listen, are you going to be here next week? Great. I hope to see you. Or, oh, I saw you last week. I really wanted to say hello to you. And you build up a little by little each time, which is great.
Yeah, I'm like Rachel. I'm just like, hi, I like you. You should be my human. Like, I'm just like, and the worst case I've just learned, I guess, as a therapist, the worst they're gonna do is be like, stop talking to me. I have mace, like, and you're gonna be like, all right, well, have a great day, and like leave. Like, I don't know, like I've really only had like one person who looked at me like I was growing horns, and they're like, why are you talking to me? And I was like, I don't know, you just seem like you need a friend, but I guess not. You can go back to dating people. Have a great day. Like, I don't know. I'm just really facetious, so I guess. I'm like Rachel. I'm just like, I don't know. We talked long enough. You seem like you're my human. Would you like to be my human now? Like, I don't know. Because like the worst, and I think I got that because when I was in school to be a therapist in my master's, there was like the weird kid, and he, adult, he's not a kid. We were in our master's, but he would ask the most weird things, and we all judged him. And the professor, who's also a therapist, said, you never know if you don't ask. Like, and so I taught that to my kids, and they take it to the extreme. Like, we were at a doctor's office, and my 10-year-old was like, hi, I like your lamp. Can I have it? And I was like, oh my God. And like at my reaction, but that person must have got the memo too. Cause he was like, well, she didn't know she could have it till she didn't ask. And I was like, you're not wrong. So I feel like we are our own worst enemy. Like, the worst someone can say is no, like, and keep it moving. I don't know. That's my TED talk. You're welcome.
That was a great TED Talk, by the way, My Human. I won't forget that. That was fun. That's great. Erica, just real quick, how old is your baby?
My baby, he's 4.5 months. And then I have my 2-year-old over here as well.
Well, I just have my first grandson, and today is his 4th-month birthday. So I wanted to kind of know what he kind of would look like for Thanksgiving. So there you go.
There you go. That's awesome.
Awesome.
Great, excellent. Well, thank you so much, Dr. Lewis. This has been so much great information. I think it's going to help to just sort of let it soak in for a little bit and then understand how to value each other more and what we bring to the table. So excellent, excellent. Thank you so much for being here today. I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording and we'll do a little housekeeping.